So hopefully this, you know, a lot of what we're going to cover today is not going to be a surprise for you. आप लोगों ने ये सब पहले भी देखा हुआ होगा और definitely इसके साथ you must have worked a little bit with it as well. तो मैं I just wanted to tell you कि इसकी real life application कब होती है. Just wanted to give you kind of an example कि कहाँ कब और कहाँ ये इस्तेमाल होता है. So I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not, but at one stage I was working in क्या कहते हैं, I was working in banking, and I was working here in Karachi in Standard Chartered, and I was working in the corporate finance department. And I was asked to be a relationship manager. So I was in the corporate department. I was working for you know, multinationals, so in that department with multinationals. And the whole question in that job was I needed to help assess कि बैंक को लोन देना चाहिए है कि नहीं देना चाहिए. बहुत लोग आते थे लोन की एप्लीकेशंस के लिए. I'm not talking about now. Remember, I was in the corporate department, so I was dealing with big corporations, and many of them wanted loans. And like we just discussed in the last class, sometimes they face, you know, cash flow problems, for example. Yeah, they wanted to buy some big plant and equipment, and they needed some borrowed money for that purpose. And majority of the time, what used to happen is my boss used to say, "Okay, Farhad, here is the annual report. ठीक है, अब आप जाइए based on this annual report." And वो एक दफा मुझे पहले तो वो कहते थे जाओ जाके इस annual report को study करो. So I used to study it, all of that, and then he used to say, "Okay, you have to do an analysis and advise us whether or not we should give this loan." And the decision of whether or not to give the loan was primarily based on ratio analysis. Now, why do you think it was based on ratio analysis? Can anybody in the class explain why was the decision of whether or not to give the loan based on ratio analysis? Why not just look at कि उनकी क्या annual report में लिखा हुआ है उसके basis पे क्यों नहीं दे देते थे? क्या ख्याल है आपका?
I think the ratio analysis were done because in that you used to compare the company's ratio with that of industry so that you could actually monitor if you need to invest or not.
Excellent. Well done, Mahir. Well, good job. So that's exactly why they used to do it. They used to say, you know, we want you to do the ratio analysis, and then what we want you to do is compare it to the rest of the industry. Check करें. Let's say this particular organization is doing very bad in terms of liquidity. Okay, then bad, you know, if I just look at the numbers and I say, okay, it's got a very low liquidity ratio. I'm just giving an example. Well, maybe us industry mein all of the other companies also have relatively low liquidity ratios. So maybe that's not a good indicator. But if compared to all of the other people in the industry, that particular company is doing very, very poorly in terms of liquidity, then I will say, okay, this is a problem. So you have to, you know, compare apples with apples and oranges with oranges. So in order to do that, you have to convert everything into ratios. Now, why again ratios का ये फायदा होता है कि ratios gives you an idea. Not just there might be a very big firm and there might be a medium-sized one and there might be a small firm, but it's not necessary that the big firm is always the one that's performing better. Sometimes the medium-sized or the small-sized firms are the ones that are performing better than the big-sized firm. But I can only figure that out by looking at ratios. तो जब आप ratios के अंदर जाते हो तो वो जो सारा size वाला मामला है ना वो सारा standardize हो जाता है. So, you know, you can compare, the comparison is basically based primarily just on performance, not on size, not on all the external factors, right? And when I was asked to do the ratio analysis, I was asked not only to just calculate the ratios, so they used to have a software, and the software ke andar, you know, sari income statement ki basic cheezein I had to put in. The format of the software is a little different from like a normal annual report. But anyways, I had to put in the numbers for the annual report, balance sheet, few numbers for the cash flow, and then the software will spit out a lot of ratios. And then, that's where then my part came in, because it's not just was not just enough to look at the ratios, but I had to analyze the ratios. And the my boss used to say, okay, look, if you have any questions, I'm going to schedule one call, we'll go in person to the client so that you can ask any questions about your ratio analysis when you are there. For example, if there's one ratio that's looking really very, very high, or one that's looking really low, you can actually go and ask the client ki why. बहुत दफा generally speaking reasons दिए हुए होते थे in the actual annual report, ये हुआ है, ये हुआ है. So I was able to piece the puzzle together, but sometimes there was information that the company did not disclose, they kept it private. So that's why my boss used to say, I will take you once to the client, you ask all the questions you want. Anyhow, then because it was Standard Chartered, I would then and it was a multinational bank, I would then do the write-up, and it would be checked by my boss. If he would sign it off, then it would go to London. London, they would verify everything again, check all the ratio analysis, everything. Achha, isse pehle, before it would go to London, it would go to the credit office in at Standard Chartered Bank. वो अलग तरीके से देखते थे ratio analysis को, and then it would go to London, and then it would finally be signed off. And if everything was okay, the loan would then be dispersed, to the client. If, however, at any point, the ratio analysis was not looking good, I would give an analysis saying that, this seems to be a little bit of a problem, and therefore we should, I could advise whether or not we wanted to give the loan. So that's something that I kind of wanted to explain to you. Okay, like where does, for example, analysis of financial statements come into actual use? So that's an example. Another example of a place where analysis of financial statements would come in use is, for investors. A lot of ये जो हैं stock market के जो brokers होते हैं, the brokerage firms होती हैं, they publish reports on all the companies, and those reports do analysis of financial statements to give advice to investors on whether or not to invest. So that's one place. And finally, there is also the whole thing of corporate finance, where some firm may be wanting to buy out another firm, but before buying it out, they want to do a thorough analysis of the financial statements. So I've just given you kind of three places where analysis of financial statement is actually done and is important. So that's the high level of where and why this is important. But now I'm just going to start talking to you about the actual financial analysis of financial statements. And okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk to you all about is liquidity ratios. And liquidity ratios is very, very important, because liquidity ratios indicates how much money does the company have to pay off all its bills जो आने वाले in the coming year, right? So if you want to make sure कि जितने भी bills हैं company के, they can actually pay them. If the company is not able to pay those bills in the coming year, meaning वो अपने current liabilities को नहीं pay कर पाएंगे, that can indicate serious cash flow problems that can be a big issue. Okay. So again, I'm going to start right from the beginning again. Financial ratios जो होते हैं, they are used to evaluate financial statements. Okay. Now, coming back to the liquidity ratios again. So this is the ratio right over here. You can see current ratio. And this is usually, they like that the current ratio should be close to 1. Okay, if it's a lot lower than 1 or a lot higher than 1, that may indicate some kind of, problems. Now, for the bank, if it's like, if it's a very high ratio, higher than 1, that's still not so bad, because here you can see कि current assets इनकी काफी ज़्यादा हैं. That would indicate कि current assets are much more than current liabilities. So that's, as far as the bank goes, if the current ratio is even higher than 1, not such a bad idea. But on the other hand, if I was an investor and the current ratio is very, very high, I would say, Q, why do they have so many current assets lying around? Why are they not investing this money? So, again, as I mentioned, the current ratio, they expect it to be close to 1. Anything too high, much higher than 1, or much lower than 1, is can be considered a little bit of a problem. And just also remember this current, it's called a current ratio because it's dealing with current liabilities and current assets, right? So that's why it's all about the basically, the liquid assets you have, and the liabilities that are coming up in the next year that you have to pay out. So that's just a little bit about current ratio. Let's see if I can get to the next slide. Okay, another very famous liquidity ratio is called the quick asset test ratio. Okay, and sometimes it's this quick asset test ratio can also be called quick ratio. It can be also be called asset test ratio, but these are just names. But this is again going to indicate the ability of a firm to pay off its debt without relying on selling its inventory. So again, if a company is having to sell its inventory in order to pay its current liabilities, that kind of indicates a problem, because they should have enough cash. Their planning should be good enough. Okay, they don't have to sell off their own inventory, because remember, inventory is something that they want to be able to sell in the final. Hold on just 1 second, just 1 second. Yeah, so I was just saying the current rate, the inventory is something that they want to sell in the finished goods market. But if they're having to sell, let's say half, their just the materials that they had, to build some of their goods, or work in process inventory, if they're having to sell that kind of inventory just to pay off their bills in the coming year, that can indicate a big problem. So that's why, quick ratio is another good liquidity ratio. And this quick ratio is one that is all compared to the industry average. Remember, all of these assets are compared to the industry, average. But this one particularly is one that definitely is compared to the rest of the industry as well. Okay. And feel free to stop me, by the way, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to stop me. Okay, next I'm going to talk to you guys about asset management ratios. And what are asset management ratios? Well, it measures how well or how effectively a firm is managing its assets. Are the assets reasonable in view of current and projected sale levels? Ratio analyzing. Okay, so आपके assets जो हैं, किसी भी company के जो assets हैं, how well are they being managed? Let's look at the first one, and as we sort of talk about each of these ratios, you'll get more of an understanding of how asset management is being analyzed by company when you're doing ratio analysis, right? So inventory turnover जो है, it helps understand if the correct amount of inventory is being held, and this is compared to the industry. Now inventory is an asset, right? So अगर बहुत ज़्यादा inventory आपने रखी हुई है, this is not good. Why? Because inventory अगर आपने बहुत ज़्यादा रखी हुई है, तो फिर आपको उस inventory को रखने के लिए you have to have a godam, you have to have that inventory may get destroyed, ruined, stolen, You have a lot of holding costs, right? If you're holding the inventory. So again, warehouse costs, you know, uske liye maybe you have to hire a guard, maybe you have to have a warehouse with an air conditioner. All of these things, if you have too much inventory, is bad news. Also, if you have too little inventory, that's also not a good idea. Can anybody explain why having too little inventory is a bad idea? Why do you think it's a bad idea to not have enough inventory?
If there is an order and you're unable to fulfill that, I think that would be a bad impression of your company.
Perfect. Thank you, Mahir. That's great. Absolutely right. So अगर आपके, you know, you don't have enough to sell, आपको orders आ रहे हैं, आप कह रहे हैं sorry हमारे पास तो माल ही नहीं है. So that's also not a good situation. So the inventory turnover ratio is calculated, you know, with this formula on the slide, which is cost of goods sold divided by inventory. ठीक है? And this will tell you how many times in a year, let's say, or so forth, inventory is coming in and being able to be sold. So how many times is, you know, the inventory turning over, meaning कि बन के पूरी बिक रही है कितनी दफा. So if a you know, and the higher the better usually, right? Because you want कि inventory के कई cycles हो रहे हैं. You don't want कि बहुत ज़्यादा लंबा हो रहा है. But again, too high, too low, not a good situation. To be able to really give an accurate understanding of how good an inventory turnover ratio is, again, you will need to calculate it and compare it to the industry. Okay, the next ratio I'm going to be talking to you about, which is an asset management ratio, is the days sales outstanding. Now, again, let's think about why is this, you know, why is this an asset management ratio? Because here you are evaluating the receivables, account receivables जो आपके होते हैं. This is asset, and you want to say you know, how quickly are you able to collect your receivables. Now, obviously, the sooner you're able to collect your receivables, the better. अगर आपको बहुत देर में आपको लोग पे करते हैं, तो that's not a good situation, right? Because आपका पैसे stuck हुए हैं. You don't want that. You want कि आपकी जितनी भी dues हैं, जितने भी आपकी चीजें, you know, customer को अगर आपने you gave it to them and you said, okay, pay me by, let's say, the next week, that they actually pay you in the next week, because otherwise your money gets stuck. So the way to calculate days sales outstanding is receivables divided by the average sales per day, which is basically annual sales divided by 365. And so this ratio will help you understand, you know, the average collection period of a company. The next ratio, another asset management ratio, is the fixed asset turnover ratio. And this is basically gives an indication of how effectively a firm is using its plant and equipment. So abhi tak the first ratio that we kind of were looking at, which it was, you know, sales divided by inventory, the inventory turnover ratio, that was more of a current asset, you know, ratio analysis. Now this ratio is a fixed asset turnover ratio. And how do you calculate this? Basically take sales divided by the next net fixed assets. And that's how you calculate this. And again, इससे आपको पता चलता है कि how many sales are being generated by your fixed assets. If there's a lot of sales that are being generated by fixed assets, that's obviously a good situation. If very few sales are being able to be generated by your fixed assets, that's not such a good situation. But again, as I mentioned earlier, you know, you always have to compare it with what is happening in the industry. And let me give you an example with Corona, for example, and also right now we have, you know, Ramzan, and then also we have these strikes going on. So this is going to be a month which is going to be a generally down period for a lot of businesses. Now, if I just looked at just one company and I said, why is it that in the month of, you know, April, this company is going down? I would say, oh my God, this company is not performing very well. But if I started comparing it with all of the industry average, then I would say no, actually everybody is going through a little bit of a down period in April. So they've actually not performed so bad. So this gives you a good idea, okay, of what is going on in comparison to all the others. All right. The last asset management ratio that I'm going to talk to you all about is the total assets turnover ratio. So here now, you know, we looked at one ratio that was specifically dealing with current assets. We looked at another one that was dealing with, you know, just the fixed assets. This one is dealing with total assets turnover. And here we're going to be looking at the ratio, which is sales divided by total assets. And this helps understand कि भाई how many sales are your assets, जो आपके assets हैं, how many sales are they being able to generate. So obviously, if you have so many assets and very few sales, that's not a good idea. On the other hand, if you have a lot of sales and few assets, that's a good situation. So in these, you know, whether it is the total asset turnover ratio or the fixed asset turnover ratio, the higher these are, generally speaking, the better it is. But obviously, too high then indicates some sort of a problem also. But generally, these ratios, the higher the better. However, for the receivables, the lower it comes, the better it is, right? Because you want the days sales outstanding to be quick, right? So the lower, the better that is. Okay, so now that we've covered the asset management ratio analysis, before I move on, I'm going to quickly ask any questions on any of these ratios so far, or are you clear?
All clear, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so next, I'm now going to talk about debt management ratios. So what is the debt management ratios? Well, the debt management is all ratios, as the name indicates. It's basically indicates the extent to which firm is using debt financing. Now, kitna debt istemal kar rahe is an important thing because here you want to make sure कि भाई बहुत ज़्यादा debt तो नहीं लिया हुआ company ने, कम तो नहीं, you know, like you want it to be in accordance to what's happening in the rest of the industry. If there is a firm that is borrowed a lot, then from a like a bank's point of view who's planning to lend it more, you would wonder, okay, bhai, can they actually pay back their debt or not? So this is an important thing to consider. Okay. So there are a couple of points over here. Debt management ratios have three main implications. I'm going to go through each one of them. I'll explain them to you as well. The first one is by raising funds through debt, stockholders can keep control of the firm without increasing their investment. Number two, if a firm earns more on investments financed with borrowed funds, then pays interest, then its shareholders' returns are magnified leverage, but risk is also leveraged. Okay. Creditors look to funding by stockholders, view this as lower risks. Okay, so let me explain each one of these. The first thing is that in general, if a firm is apne debt बढ़ा रही है rather than equity, so imagine there's a firm who wants to get more money. There are two ways a firm can get more money. Either it can go and issue more stocks, or it can issue more debt. Okay, maybe go to a bank and say, can I borrow some money? Yeah, it will have to go to the stock market and issue more shares. So generally speaking, if a company is buying more, getting more debt, the stockholders are going to be happy with that versus you know, the company issuing more shares. Why? Because the stockholders generally want to keep control of the firm, and if more stocks are going to be issued by the company, then उनका जो stronghold है company के ऊपर, उनकी shares की value कम हो जाएगी compared to what it is originally. So that's why, you know, stockholders will be happier if a company goes and gets more debt. अच्छा, so one thing to also point number 2 के अंदर एक चीज वो ये कह रहे हैं कि in general you have to always remember कि a firm will have to pay off all of its interest payments, and then it will be able to pay dividends and all of these other things. ठीक है, so दो इसके फायदे हैं फ्रॉम अ शेयर होल्डर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. नुकसान ये है कि पहले अ कंपनी विल हैव टू पे ऑफ ऑल इट्स इंटरेस्ट expenses, and only then if money is left over they are going to be able to pay the stockholders. So even though there are some benefits to the shareholders, इसके कुछ नुकसान भी होते हैं. Also there is more risk. Whenever there's more debt, a firm gets more and more debt, there is also it becomes more leveraged, and it is a more riskier situation. Okay, creditors look to funding by stockholders. Okay. Generally speaking, those shareholders might be interested कि ज़्यादा debt banks ले ले. Banks on the other hand would be more interested instead of continuing to increase pile up its debt, that company actually increases its goes and maybe issues more shares, and so increases its the amount of shares in the market to get more money. So there are two ways of looking at it. जो लोग पैसे, the debt वाले लोग जो पैसे दे रहे हैं, they would want कि ज़्यादा shares बिक जाएं, और जिनकी shares हैं they would want कि ज़्यादा debt बढ़ जाए. So these are two perspectives kind of to keep in mind. Okay, so hopefully you understood all of those points, and next I'm going to just talk to you guys a little bit about all the debt management ratios and how companies really keep an eye on how much debt a company has taken on, and is it too much or too little. So the first ratio is total liabilities to total assets. Now here you have a situation where it's total debt divided by total assets. Now please remember the last point over here, point number 3, is कि जो जितने creditors हैं, meaning जो banks हैं, they don't like कि debt ज़्यादा हो. They would prefer कि company goes and issues more shares if they have to, या आपकी जो shareholder equity है वो बढ़ जाए, meaning shareholders आपकी जो है वो ज़्यादा पैसे दे दें. But too much debt, if it's too high, then banks are going to be reluctant to pay you additional money for debt. ठीक है, so creditors, meaning banks, they prefer low debt ratios. So again, debt to asset ratio is total debt to total assets. अगर ये बहुत ज़्यादा high होगा, the banks are going to count this as a red flag, not a good situation. Okay, the next debt management ratio is the times interest earned, which is the ability to pay interest. So if they, how easy is it going to be for a company to pay its interest expense? Because remember, if there is a creditor, if there is a bank and they have loaned some money, they want to be sure कि भाई interest expense वापस दे भी सकेंगे कि नहीं. ठीक है, और इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस इसको कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं? बाय दिस रेशियो, व्हिच इज अर्निंग्स बिफोर इंटरेस्ट एंड टैक्सेस डिवाइडेड बाय इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस. The next ratio is EBITDA coverage ratio, which is the ability to service debt. Again, this is all about how easy or how difficult will it be for a company to pay its debt. So what is the formula for this? This is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization plus lease payments. Any lease, this basically means कि कोई चीज अगर आपने lease पे ली हुई है, let's say कोई plant आपने बहुत बड़ा एक lease पे लिया हुआ है और आपने कहा है कि वे किस्तों में दे देंगे वापस, so that's the lease payments, and you divide it by interest plus principal payments, which is the principal amount that you need to pay back for loans, for example, and your lease payments. And this will give you the EBITDA coverage ratio. Again, from a creditor's point of view, all of these ratios, they would want a relatively low. Okay, all right. Banks also, one important thing is that banks focus they really focus a lot on this EBITDA coverage ratio, and also they focus on long-term, and also long-term bond holders, they focus on the times interest earned ratio, which is this one, number 2. So again, your banks are going to be looking at this ratio more carefully, and anybody who is, you know, a bond holder, they're going to be looking at this ratio. Okay, before I go on to the profitability analysis ratios, quick questions. Anybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me now.
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, sounds
No
good.
question, ma'am.
Sounds great. Thank you. All right, next I'm going to talk to you guys about profitability ratios. And so obviously these ratios are going to indicate how profitable a company is. This also is going to show you the impact of liquidity, asset management, and debt on operating results. So आपका जो ये जो सारी चीजें हैं, आपकी liquidity management हो गई, अभी हमने liquidity के बारे में ratios देखे, asset management के, debt management के ratios देखे, ये सबको देखा हमने. But we're also going to, these ratios we're going to be talking about, they are going to be talking a lot about the operating results. मतलब ये कि net जो आपका और actual operations की जो results हैं, वो इन ये आपकी सारी जो आपने management की है, liquidity की, asset management की, debt management की, इसका impact जो है overall आपके operations पे कैसा आ रहा है? Do you have good positive operating results or negative operating results? And obviously your operating results, they depend on how you're managing all of these other things. Also, by the way, 8 minute mein ye, less than 1 minute, this session is going to end. So as soon as it ends, please join back again on the same link that I sent you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. So the first ratio is the net profit margin. And this is the impact of liquidity, asset management, and debt management on operating results, as I just mentioned. And iska formula hai net income available to common stockholders divided by sales. So that is your net profit margin. And do you think that it would be good if this is very high or very low? What do you think? Anyone? Interest and taxes over sales. Again, these are all indicating कि भाई आपके operations कैसे जा रहे हैं. अगर तो आपके net income या earning before interest and taxes is very, very low as compared to sales, that is not a good situation. You want the EBIT is pretty good compared to your sales. So the higher the better, the lower, not a good situation. Another one is the gross profit margin, which is sales minus cost of goods sold divided by sales. And this is the gross profit margin, identifies the gross profit per dollar of sales before any other expenses are deducted. ठीक है, सो ये आपको मोटा मोटा अगेन वही बता रहा है कि आपके जो कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड है, is that very high or very low? You obviously don't want a situation where cost of goods sold is very, very high. So again, these are things to keep in mind. Couple of other ratios to keep in mind. Next I'm going to be talking to you about market value ratios. But right before I finish this, I do want to reiterate again that in general profitability ratios का एक चीज आपने याद रखनी है, वो ये है कि अगर तो ये बहुत ज्यादा लो आ रहे हैं, this indicates either too high debt या inefficient operations. Both of these are very dangerous situations. Okay, now turning over to the market value ratios. This relates the firm's stock price to earnings, cash flow, book value per share. ठीक है? Okay, so now again, as we start going through these, you will start understanding a little bit more about them. So let's go to the first one, which is price to earning ratios. This is a very common one, also known as PE ratios. And these are higher for companies with more growth potential, but lower for riskier firms. So what is this? This is the price per share divided by the earnings per share. So just imagine अगर आपकी earnings बहुत low है और price बहुत ज़्यादा है, that really doesn't make that much of a sense, right? कि earnings low है लेकिन price ज़्यादा है. However, somebody may still go and buy a company with a high PE ratio because maybe people are ready to give more of a price even if the earnings are low, because they think that there is a lot of growth potential for this firm and they think that in the future the earnings are going to go up. So that's a situation in which case investors are still going to go and give it. On the other hand, if the price, if it's a PE ratio is very low, that also indicates a riskier firm, right? It's a little bit risky. If the price people are paying per share is very low and the earnings are high, that means that kuch gadbad hai. People are thinking that there is some major risk involved in this company, because even though the company is giving a good earnings per share, the price is still pretty low. So this gives you an indication of what is, the market sentiment, what is going on in the market versus the actual operations of the company. Another ratio for the market value ratio is the price to cash flow ratio. This is the price per share divided by the cash flow per share. If the industry average, this may be because of the growth prospects are both below, risk is above average or both. Okay, so again here you want no company, again you don't want to, there's no situation where you want the cash flow per share to be very, very low, and neither do you want the cash flow per share to be very high. So this is one of those situations कि इसको देखने के लिए, इसको analyze करने के लिए, you definitely want to compare this to the industry average. And obviously too high or too low is not going to be a good situation. A couple more market value ratios. One of them is the market to book value ratio. This is going to be calculated by total common equity divided by shares outstanding. This gives you the book value per share. तो बेसिकली ये कि ये टोटल आपकी इक्विटी और ये आपकी शेयर्स आउटस्टैंडिंग है, तो बेसिकली आपकी वैल्यू क्या है हर शेयर की. So this will give you a good idea as to that. And the market to book value, this is calculated as the market price per share divided by the book value per share. Book value per share we just calculated, and the higher this is, the better it is, the better the situation is. So if the market price of a share is very high and the book value per share is low, that just shows that the market ke andar the sentiment is very good for the company. Generally, investors are thinking that this particular share is going to increase in its value going forward, and the company is going to perform well in the future. So a few things to really kind of talk to you a little bit about now that we've covered the key ratios is trend analysis. So we just kind of discussed this. Right on the right hand side, you see over here a situation where there are two lines. The first line, or the first trend that has been plotted, is the industry one, and that's in red. And then you have a company trend analysis, which is in blue. And in this particular case, they are looking at the rate of return on common equity. So that's what they're really plotting. And you can see on the x-axis, they're looking at it year on year. So 2012 se leke 2016 tak they're kind of looking at it. And here you can see that it seems that the company was doing better than the industry. So everything was going quite well, except something seems to have happened in mid of 2015. And like, for example, either in this particular situation, you could either look into the annual report as to what is going on in year 2015, because here you can see after 2000, mid 2015, their performance is lower than the industry, right? And rate of return is on common equity is something, the higher the better. So here you would definitely look into why. If you don't get the answer in the annual report, you would want to find out, call the company, visit the company, find out why this is going, what is going on. So trends जो होते हैं, this gives an indication if firm's financial condition is likely to improve or deteriorate. Now, looking at this, you know, you can give a good indication कि भाई ये तो downward trend जा रहा है micro drive का 2015 से आगे. अब now this gives you an idea कि पहले क्या हो रहा था और आगे क्या हो रहा है. If you don't do a trend analysis, it gets a little hard for you to compare what's happening in the industry versus what's happening in the company. Another kind of analysis that is done many times is the common size. It's called common size analysis. And in this, all the balance sheet items are divided by total assets, and all the income statement items are divided by sales. Again, this is basically, you know, trying to put things in percentage terms, because over here you can see percentage terms, right? Percents mein hai, या decimal points में ratios होते हैं. So by making it common size, companies are basically able to take their net figures and put them in kind of percentage form and then do trend analysis. So this is also done quite often. Okay, next I want to talk to you about time ratios together, and there's a very famous equation called the DuPont equation, and this equation is very famous because what happened is that they basically realized that by multiplying certain ratios, you can get some very valuable information. For example, the return on assets. Now, this is a very famous ratio, return on assets, and again, this gives you an indication कि भाई आपकी कितने assets हैं, वो कितने पैसे generate कर रहे हैं. So this, they realized that if you multiply two ratios together, you can calculate the return on assets. And what are those ratios? The first one is profit margin, which we learned is net income divided by sales, and you multiply that by your total sales turnover, which we also saw how to calculate, which is sales into divided by total assets. So if you multiply these two together, that will give you a return on assets. Similarly, return on equity. So this is also an important ratio. इसको बहुत finance के अंदर इसके बारे में बात होती है. And what is return on equity all about? Why is it important? Well, it really gives an indicator कि जितनी equity है किसी company में, उसके basis के ऊपर क्या returns आ रहे हैं. How well is the company performing in comparison to the amount of equity that they have? How is this calculated? This is calculated by multiplying your return on asset ratio by your equity multiplier ratio. And to calculate this, you can calculate it by the formula net income divided by total assets multiplied by total assets divided by common equity. There is also an extended DuPont equation. And this is, you know, to calculate the ROE, you can multiply the profit margin into the total assets turnover into the equity multiplier. And again, this would also give you the return on equity. So, you know, the fun thing about all of this is it's about taking ratios, multiplying them together to get some pretty valuable information. Something that when you do compare how a company is doing compared to, let's say, the other companies in an industry, this is known as benchmarking. Okay, this is known as benchmarking. And this is something that is very much used, especially for comparative ratio analysis. So benchmarking is extremely important as far as financial statement analysis goes. There are a couple of things, however, that, you know, there are some uses and some limitations of ratio analysis, which is important for you to know. So ratio analysis is not always, rosy picture with no issues. There are definitely some big benefits. There are some uses. For example, managers use ratio analysis to help analyze, control, and improve firm operations. Creditors, meaning banks, they use to check कि भाई can a company actually pay its debt. अगर हम इनको और डेट दे देंगे तो will they be able to pay their interest expense and pay back their debt or not? And stock analysts, they also check to see कि भाई ये जो स्टॉक है इसको खरीदना चाहिए और कि नहीं, कंपनी की एफिशिएंसी कैसे जा रही है, रिस्क कैसा जा रहा है, ग्रोथ प्रोस्पेक्ट्स कैसे जा रहे हैं, राइट? सो मैनेजर्स यूज इट, right? Because they are checking the operations, how the operations going, want to check how they're doing, let's say compared to the rest of the industry. So that's how they use it. Banks and creditors use it, and also stock analysts use it. So there are many uses, as I mentioned even in the beginning of the class, of ratio analysis. However, there are some, problems and limitations of ratio analysis. And, when right before we start concluding this lecture, it's important to also talk about problems with ratio analysis. I'll go through each one of these, and if there's anything complicated, I will explain it. Most of these are quite self-explanatory, but I still want to go through each one of them with you all. So the first one is ratio analysis is more useful for small, narrowly focused firms than large multi-dimensional ones. So if there is one firm that has like 100 different departments versus another firm that is basically, one department, let's say they're agricultural business, but there's another company that has agri business, then they have IT business, then they have like 5 other businesses. So ratio analysis becomes hard because again, in ratio analysis, we want to compare apples to apples. So if there's one agricultural based company, and there's another one that's basically agricultural based, and those are the only products, that's easy to do the ratio analysis with. But if there's a large multi-dimensional firm, how can you do it? How do you compare it? Who do you compare it with? It gets very complicated. The focus should be on industry leaders. So ratio analysis ke andar generally, you are comparing with industry leaders. This is a question mark. Are the industry leaders, they are the best in the industry? Is it a fair comparison or not? Next, inflation causes changes in numbers, therefore interpretation of ratios by judgment. Okay, so again, inflation. So we're seeing this in Pakistan right now. The value of money in general is going down. And you can see this like महंगाई जो कहते हैं ना, महंगाई बढ़ रही है. So when that happens, that causes changes in numbers. And therefore it gets a little bit harder to interpret ratios. Because पहले जो चीजें की जो चीजों की value थी, अब वो चीजों की value अब बदल रही है. So that's why in those situations where there is inflation, this makes ratio analysis a little bit difficult. Seasonal factors can distort ratios. So, sometimes there are some companies that are seasonal companies, and, they have certain impacts on some companies, and it can really distort the ratios. Firms may deploy window dressing techniques to make their financial statements look stronger. Okay, now this is a very important one. So, kabhi companies जो हैं वो विंडो ड्रेसिंग कर जाती हैं, अपनी नंबर्स को किसी ना किसी तरह मैनिपुलेट कर जाते हैं, and they manipulate it and they try to make their financial statements look stronger. This is a problem. Different account practices can distort comparisons. Again, if one company is calculating ratios in a completely different way than other companies and indicating it, or they're calculating their, I don't know, sales in a different way, or any numbers on their financial statements in using different accounting practices compared to other companies, this can distort ratio analysis. It is difficult to generalize if a particular ratio is good or bad. Again, you can't just say ye ratio acha hai ya ye ratio bura hai. It usually has to be done in comparison, and this can be difficult because you can't. It gets difficult to generalize. कि भाई ये अच्छा है ये बुरा है. because almost everything has to be done in comparison. Firms may have some good and other poor ratios, making it difficult to tell if the overall performance of a company is good or bad. Now imagine some ratios, company is doing very well, other ratios is doing very bad. So bank, if you are a bank and you have to decide whether or not to give a loan, it gets very confusing sometimes because, you know, of these very different ratios that are coming up. Finally, financial statements can be inaccurate. Sometimes financial statements are inaccurate, they are not correct, and therefore it gets very difficult to sort of you know, do accurate ratio analysis. Okay, and that brings me to the end of this lecture. Does anybody have any questions on anything that I discussed so far? No? Okay, that sounds good. So that means that now I'm going to give you some questions to do. And so please make a note of these questions. I'll also WhatsApp पे भी मैं आपको बता देती हूँ कि क्या कौन से questions हैं. So first things first, हर chapter की जो self test questions हैं, those are the questions that you definitely want to be able to solve. Okay, so you have to solve those questions. Abhi I'm going to give you about jitna bhi remaining time hai, we have about 10 baje tak class hai. So at 10:50 I'm going to do call you all to take the last attendance. And also at that time, if any of you are having any struggling on any questions, you can ask me and I can try and give you some hints on it. But the questions that I want you to do are basically 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 9. Yep, that's it. So basically all the way 4.1 से लेके 4.9 तक आपने करने हैं सवाल और self test questions 1 and 2. ठीक है? Any questions? Everybody clear what it has to be done?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So
Yes, ma'am.
wonderful. So I'm going to stop this recording. I'll probably upload this recording for because I think a lot of people were absent today, so they can hear it. But वो तो मैं कर दूंगी, but then I'm going to drop off now, and then we will come back at 9:50, and I will take attendance at that time and answer any questions you may have. ठीक है? So good luck with solving the problems, and I'll talk to you all soon. All right, take care.
Miss, are the self-test questions part of the assignment?
Yes, so no, but you don't have to give it as part of the assignment, but just make sure that her chapter ki self-test questions, you solve them and you're comfortable with them.
Right.
Okay, so just do that for yourself, and you don't have to give them in because there's an answer in the book. Step by step, they tell you how to solve it. So no need to give it as your assignment, but you are responsible to know how to solve those. Okay, ji. Okay, good luck with solving these problems, and I'll talk to you at 9:50. Take care. Allah Hafiz for now.